Hello and welcome to another TLDR UK video. It feels like it's taken an eternity, but we finally have a Brexit deal agreed by the UK and EU. After years of waiting and weeks of immutable deadlines coming and going, it's here in all of its glory. The issue being that it's not come at the best time for, anyone. For businesses, ordinary citizens and our team, we all just have a matter of days to readjust and prepare for the future relationship. So in this video, we're going to take a look at exactly what's set to change from January 1st, from the perspective of the UK. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to the channel for more updates about Brexit as it happens. Also, if you're interested in the EU side of this story, what changes for Europeans on January 1st, then we made a video about that too over on the TLDR EU channel. It's linked down below. While most, if not all, major things remained more or less the same during the transition period, the same can't be said for when 2021 comes round. At 11 PM UK time, the transition period will come to a close, and after nearly 40 years of marriage, the UK will leave the EU's single market and customs union, affecting everything from non-tariff barriers to data adequacy decisions. The issue being that changes listed in the deal, things like sanitary and phytosanitary regime, don't actually mean that much to you and I. So what does 2021 actually entail for you? The biggest visible change will come when you travel, something 2020 hasn't really given us the chance to do. Earlier this year, on the passport front, gone was the burgundy European Union emblazoned UK passport, and in have come a bluish-blackish version. This change, however, had no material impact on its usage. That comes later, because until the 31st of December, UK citizens were able to travel to the EU relatively free of restrictions, and there was no minimum amount of time left required on passports, nor any restrictions for how long you could stay. However, from the 1st of January 2021, UK citizens will be required to have at least 6 months left on their passports at their time of entry into the EU, with the exception of Ireland due to the common travel area. Although COVID has complicated this yet further. Due to the pandemic, travellers from most non-EU member states are barred from entering the EU, except for essential purposes. So when the UK falls out of the transition period, it will ultimately be subject to that same travel ban, until or unless the EU exempt the UK or individual countries make exemptions. Essentially though, as the UK is becoming a third country, the EU ban applies to us too. Then from the end of 2022, the EU's set to bring in a system that's similar to America's Electronic System for Travel Authorization, or ESTA. The European Travel Information and Authorization System, or ETIAS, will require all non-EU nationals who don't need a visa to enter the Schengen area, including the likes of UK citizens, to apply for a travel authorization, an application with a fee of €7. So while you still won't need a visa, you will need pre-authorization through ETIAS. When you actually reach passport control, you'll no longer be able to use the e-passport gates or the EU EEA lanes, and you may face increased questions surrounding the purpose of your visit, whether you have returned bookings, and exactly how you plan to cover the likes of accommodation and food costs while in the EU. The only mild upside is that passport stamps are back. When it comes to furry companions, pet passports are also affected. EU pet passports will no longer be valid for pets in Great Britain, with a health certificate from a vet required for each and every pet going into the EU or Northern Ireland. The time you can spend abroad will also change too. If you're a tourist, you won't require a visa for short trips, and you'll be able to stay for up to 90 days in any 180-day period. Longer stays may ultimately require visas or permits. The changes also impact your flight home, because gone are the days of bringing home crate loads of cheap booze. While duty-free shopping will return, making some goods cheaper, there will be new allowances for the quantity you can bring back from the EU, specifically 42 litres of beer or 18 litres of still wine, with other goods not allowed to exceed £390 in value. If you plan to drive while abroad, there are a whole new set of rules and regulations that need to be followed. Notably, if you're taking your own vehicle, you'll have to have both a GB sticker as well as a green card from your insurer, proving that you have the required cover. On the actual licence front, UK licences will no longer be automatically recognised as one and the same as EU ones, especially those without a plastic photo card licence, who may require an additional international driving permit. If you're unfortunate enough to be involved in a road accident while abroad, proceedings will now have to be brought in the country where the accident happened, likely in their local language, and there'll no longer be any recourse through domestic courts when you get back to the UK. The famed European health insurance card will also apply no more. While all cards issued before the end of 2022 will run up until their expiry date, no new e-HIC cards will be issued to UK citizens. Instead, the government has announced that they'll issue a new card, the UK Global Health Insurance Card. The GHIC will provide state medical treatment due to illness, accidents, and existing illnesses in the EU, Switzerland, Norway, Iceland, or Liechtenstein. A very niche interpretation of the word global, it must be added. While a member of the EU, British phone carriers were subject to EU law, which guaranteed that people would be able to use their phones for calls, texts, and data on the same terms as at home, within reason, which meant that you could use your data allowance at no extra fee. This will no longer apply after the end of the transition period. Carriers will no longer be legally required not to charge, allowing phone companies to increase their prices as they so wish. We actually reached out to the 4 biggest phone carriers in the UK, and at the time of writing, Vodafone confirmed to us that they have no plans to bring back the charges. And while no response was forthcoming from the others to us specifically, the remaining carriers have otherwise confirmed publicly the same viewpoint, that they also won't be increasing the cost. It must be noted that some mobile protections have been protected in domestic UK law. Under the Mobile Roaming EU Exit Regulations Act of 2019, the monthly cap on spending has been retained, set at £45 a month, as well as the requirement that you're alerted once you've used 80% and 100% of your data allowance. When it comes to online services, while the UK was a member of the EU, the 4 freedoms meant that UK citizens had legally guaranteed access to online services such as Netflix. This legal guarantee is no more. However, this doesn't mean that overnight accesses will be cut off. Like mobile roaming, it will ultimately be a matter for individual providers deciding to slightly amend their provisions over time. When it comes to working abroad, the 4 freedoms ultimately no longer apply to UK citizens. So from the 1st of January, British citizens will require a visa to work in the European Union. For students hoping to study in the EU, after the transition period is over, British citizens who are beginning courses in the EU that last longer than 3 months will require a student visa for that particular EU country. UK citizens also no longer qualify for domestic fees when studying abroad, barring those currently living in the EU, which could lead to UK students being faced with increased international fees. Along similar veins, from the 1st of January, the UK will also no longer be participating in the EU's Erasmus scheme. The Erasmus programme was famed for allowing students to study at universities in other EU member states. The UK government has announced, however, that a new scheme, named after Alan Turing, will be set up and backed with over £100 million, set to start in September 2021. Exactly which institutions will sign up is yet to be seen, however. On the domestic side, from the 1st of January, the UK will no longer be bound to the European Union's VAT regime. The government will be able to, at its sole discretion, change the entire system, including making new goods zero-rated. In March's budget, the Chancellor announced that at the end of the transition period, the UK would abolish VAT on sanitary products, dubbed the tampon tax, using this newfound freedom. Ultimately though, this list may not be the extent of the changes the UK will face, so be sure to subscribe to the channel so that we can update you as the situation plays out. Also, we're going to have a whole separate video on the Northern Irish border coming out later this week, so that we can discuss that particular change in much more detail. If you're interested in what's set to change on the EU side, then you can also check out the video we made over on the TLDR EU channel. It's linked down below. But what do you think? Are you prepared for the UK's future relationship with the EU? Is it even the right future relationship? As always, let us know your thoughts in the comments below. As I said, be sure to subscribe to the channel to be notified every time we release new videos. Special thanks to our Patreon backers who make videos like this one possible. And if you want to see your name at the end of videos, then you too can back us on Patreon. The link to that's in the description.